Hello, mamas. It's nice to be here with you. This is Andrea, coming to you from the little yoga house. I am setting up in my home today so that I can share a 40-minute practice with you for prenatal mamas. If you've been in a class with me before, I've got my candles back here that we're used to using to create our own mama circle. And since we can't be circling in the usual fashion for today, I thought I'd bring them out and just remind you of all the times that we've connected around them, and that I'm looking forward to bringing them to the next time that we're in class together so we can circle up and share face to face. So I'm recording this in the very early evening, so I'm imagining this will be sort of a quiet, kind of grounding end of day sort of practice for you that you can come to and use anytime. And if you have some props, you can pause the video and bring them to your mat. If you don't have them, that's okay. But any kind of blanket that's kind of soft but firm, maybe even a towel could work well for you. If you have a couple of yoga blocks or something similar that you might use as you fold over to bring the ground up a little bit, feel free to grab those as well. And if not, no worries, we'll just do what we can. So find your comfortable seat at your mat, and this practice will be for any pregnancy, any phase of pregnancy, mamas who are new to yoga, mamas who have been there before, who have done a little bit of practice themselves. So yeah, let's just find a seat and let's get started. Let your gaze start to soften down toward the ground, or let your eyes just close completely. And as we always do, letting ourselves start to drop into our breath. We're starting to give this little space between moving around and getting ready to find some time on our mats. And first, just really starting to notice as we sit, as we come into some form of stillness, what are the things that start to get a little bit turned up in volume for us? And what parts of our body, what areas of our mind, what feelings or emotions begin to come to the surface as we slow down our movements? Continue to take some breaths here and let your attention really slowly and thoughtfully travel along with your breath. As you breathe in, where are the places that you feel some expansion, some opening, some space being created? And then as you exhale, equally enjoying the softness and the return and the settling that comes as the breath leaves your body. Maybe this is the first moment so far today that we've taken the time to just sit and feel our breath. Let's bring our hands onto our body. Let's bring one hand near our heart and bring one hand near your baby, resting somewhere on your belly. And as you feel your chest and your belly lift with each inhale, as you feel them soften with each exhale, travel with the breath as it comes through your nostrils. And imagine all that it's bringing not only into your body right now, but also what it's bringing to your baby. Imagine all of the oxygen and prana, energy, everything that you're ready to take in and take on in this moment as it comes in. And as you exhale out, anything that you're not needing anymore gets to go along with it. And take a moment here to really connect down and see if your child is there maybe even sending a little message to you right now. As you sit in stillness and you focus on your baby, is there anything that you might also be able to receive? Can you get a sense for your baby contained and comforted and totally cared for inside of your body? Can you get a sense for that peacefulness that surrounds your child? Due to all of the changes that you've made in your pregnancy, all of the ways that you've chosen to care for yourself, your child is so in tune with you and is able to feel that sense of release, knowing that he or she is really, truly looked after. So maybe, just maybe, we can lean into that peace a little bit here today. We can look to our child to share with us what it is to be at ease. And send a final little message down to your baby or babies growing inside. And then we'll start to take that attention back to your own heart. So let your bottom hands start to rise back up so both palms are gently touching one another and resting near your heart, near your sternum, near your chest. I'll invite you to chant the sound of Om with me. We'll take a nice full breath first and then we'll sing our Om together. So when you're ready, let's take an inhale through the nose. Exhaling completely. And then inhaling to sing. And as you exhale, release your hands and slowly start to blink open your eyes again. All right, hello. My children are home too, so hopefully it'll be pretty quiet out here while we're doing this. But if you hear some sounds of commotion, that's just family life. So go ahead and scoot anything off to the side that you might be sitting on, and we're going to come onto all fours to start. If you want to use your blanket or your towel underneath you, go ahead and open it up so you have a little bit more padding between your body and the ground. And we'll start by coming to all fours here. So fingers spread nice and wide. Really feel your palms pressing down into the ground. You might almost imagine your hand like a foot in this moment. And really let your base of your thumb, the base of your index finger kind of be the heel of your foot or of your hand right now. So go ahead and press down there. Feel the connection between that part of your hand around the big thumb, around the index finger, and really push the ground away here. Hips will be about over your knees or so, hands just forward or under the shoulders. More and more forward if your wrists are particularly sensitive tonight. We'll just start moving with our breath. So on an inhale, let your chest reach forward through your shoulders, let your tailbone come up. As you exhale, push the ground away, hug your baby up toward your spine, and let your spine curl. And just moving back and forth with your breath as you exhale, that's a signal to your body to allow the movement as your spine rounds. And as the inhale begins, feel your pelvis rotating and your spine, your neck, your head following along. So just moving with your breath here. And few breaths to let your body move however it wants to now that you find yourself on hands and knees. So maybe a similar pattern, maybe on the exhale as your spine rounds, your hips start to come back toward your feet. And then maybe on the inhale, you rise back up. Again, hips can pull back toward the feet. Maybe stay with a movement like that, or let your chest begin to circle around. You might barrel roll the chest around a little bit, and then go in the opposite direction. One or any other movement here might feel best for you. So it's just a little bit of experimentation and letting your body kind of lead the way here. Maybe your hips feel good, a little swaying side to side. So take the next few breaths just doing whatever you feel like you'd like to do here on hands and knees. And then we'll start moving together again really soon. All right, take your final breath, kind of rounding out the sides. And then let's meet back here on all fours again. Take a nice inhale, looking forward, hugging baby a little toward your belly. As you exhale, slide your hips back. Open your knees as wide as you need to. Create space there to find a child's pose. So if it feels all right, your forehead might sink down toward the ground. If you have a block handy or something else to rest your forehead on, that might feel nice, especially as your belly is really growing and baby's taking up lots of space. You can rest your forehead, bring the ground a little higher up to you, and let go of any tension of holding your skull up here. And really just breathe into the back of your body. We'll stay here for a few more breaths in child's pose. Any modification or variation that feels good for you. If you don't have something to rest your head on, and you want to hold your head up and your belly's really growing rather large, you might even just bring your elbows to the ground and use your hands to create like a little skull cradle. And just take a couple of breaths. And wherever you're at in your child's pose, let's go ahead and walk our hands back out. We're going to walk them over toward the right side of the mat. So get a big crescent stretch into the left side. As you breathe here, feel this left all the way from your hip along the side of your body, up through the armpit, through the arm, out to your fingertips. Just a big stretch, every breath, allowing that side of your body to just kind of pulse with the breath, creating more space for baby to move into, to grow into, more space for you to breathe into. And then we'll walk our hands back to center. And before you hit the other side, just pause for a minute and just feel any after effects on the left side from getting that really deep stretch. And then we'll go ahead and we'll walk over to the left side of the mat. Same thing. Let your right hip stay sunk down as much as you can with enough space so you don't feel squished in your tummy. And breathe deeply into the right lung. Take a couple more breaths there. Feel the right side of the rib cage expanding. Feel the muscles of respiration supporting this movement of your body as you inhale and expand. And then we'll walk our hands back over to center. Start to push back up onto your hands. Find all fours one more time. So if your wrists are bothering you, and you have a couple of blocks around, we can use them to keep our torso pretty high off the ground, but to take some of the work out of the wrists. So if this is an option for you and it feels good for your wrists, feel free to bring your arms into this position. Otherwise, we might have our hands on the ground, or we might come all the way down onto forearms. We're going to just start to stretch through the back of the leg. So extend your right leg back behind you. And as you curl the toes and begin to push back through the heel, bring some attention to your pelvis here. Notice if this right hip is really high or really low, dropping down. And just see if you can create a sense of balance and lift so that the pelvis feels like it's equal, like it's balanced, lifted from the ground here. And just take another breath or two. Saying hello to your hamstring, maybe even lifting a little bit from the thigh bone. And then we'll go ahead and bring that leg back down and we'll see how the other side is feeling. So left leg back behind you, curl the toes, push back through the heel. Stretch into that back side of the left leg. And also, again, just check out your hips. Maybe the left hip needs to lift up a little bit more. Maybe there's a little bit of lift and work all the way from the back of the left leg, like the thigh bone is pulling up into the pelvis a little bit to support you. Notice even this just takes some work, yeah? And then we'll go ahead and bring our left knee right back to the ground. Okay, let's come off of our wrists for a moment. So we're gonna either sit back onto our heels, or grab a block, or a folded blanket, and bring something behind you that you can put your sit bones on and sit comfortably. We'll just kind of roll into the wrists a little bit here, see how they're doing. Make little fists, make little circles. And we'll slow down and circle the other way. And now here, when we're in cat-cow, when we're on the ground on all fours, we have our wrists pulled back like this. Let's take them the opposite direction. Let your right wrist or right hand just drop down. Make sure this is feeling okay for you. If it doesn't bother to bring a little bit more pressure, you might take your fingertips here to about the knuckle of the middle finger, ring finger area, and just apply a little bit of pressure. Keeping it soft, keeping that just at the edge of what feels like a good sensation, nothing that's feeling uncomfortable and making our wrist feel awkward. And then go ahead and release that hand and we'll find the other side. Right there about the knuckle of the middle finger to ring finger area. And just taking the wrist in the opposite direction. And then go ahead, let's flick our fingers a little bit, and you can make it a little forceful, like you're having a water fight and you just dipped your hands in water and you're trying to get your children with it. Use your thumb to provide some resistance on the outside of the fingernails of the other hands as you flick, as you drive some of this energy all the way down. All right, we'll let that go. So let's come back onto all fours again. You can bring your block up to the front if you have one. And let's find a heart-melting pose or quarter dog pose. So hands will walk further out in front of you. Hips will stay about above the knees. And then let your heart, let your forehead kind of come down toward the ground. Look for this feeling of extension from your tailbone down through the spine, through the arms. Really feel your fingertips grounding, almost like cat claws, kind of clawing into the mat here. So your hands are active, holding you up. Take one last breath. And then inhale, push into your hands, start to slide them back in toward you. So if you're not practicing downward facing dog, either because you're right at the beginning of your pregnancy or you're taking some time to let everything settle, find its right place, let everything attach, or if you're at the end of your pregnancy and your baby is head down, moving into the bottom of your pelvis, and you want all of that downward energy, that apana vayu, to just keep baby pushing and making this progression out of your body and into your arms. So downward dog sometimes isn't in our practice when we're pregnant. If it is in your practice, between those two places, we'll find a downward dog next. So fingers spread nice and wide again. Find that heel of your hand at the base of your thumb and your index finger. Curl your toes under and begin to push into your hands as you lift your hips. Using your hands here to push back, bringing your thighs. Oh, this just feels so good in this moment. Walk your feet out toward the edges of your mat. If your hamstrings are feeling rather tight, just more space between your feet. And then take some time bending one knee and then the other. If we're not practicing downward facing dog right now, we might have our knees on the ground, we might be cat-cowing, or we might be taking that heart-melting or quarter dog pose here, feeling this big extension along the back. So one last breath wherever we're at. And then in our down doggies, we're gonna look forward, take a little step forward with our feet, and on our exhale, bend our knees and start to walk our feet all the way back. If you're not in down dog, just take your time walking your hands back toward your feet and find us all in this forward fold here. Bring your hands onto your shins on your next inhale. Continue to slowly bring yourself all the way up. And then pause here, being on your feet again. Noticing if there's some dizzies today. Sometimes we just don't know until we get onto the mat how it's gonna feel to be folded over and then to stand up. So always just offering lots of space, lots of kindness in our practice, and no rush. So just pausing here. Now that we've kind of had a few breaths, let's inhale, lift our arms, reach up high, and exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. All right, we're gonna move towards the front of our mat, and we'll go ahead and remove our blanket. Slide it out of the way if you have one, and just take a few large steps as we make our way up to the mat, to the top of the mat. Again, if you have a block handy, you can bring this here in front of you. If you don't, you might even have something like a chair handy. If you have a chair nearby, you might also bring a chair up to the front of your mat and use it in a very similar way. So, take a moment, see if there's anything that you'd like to have to use for you here today. And then come up to the front of your mat. Find your Tadasana, that place where you feel like your feet, your heels are rooted just right to provide the balance that you need underneath your pelvis. And remember, we have a lot of change going on here. So our stance may widen, it may change, it may feel unusual as our pregnancies progress. So just find the place that's right for you for today. From there, bend your knees a little bit, just so you can kind of really feel your feet, feel your legs, feel the muscles. And then push down through your feet and notice how the rest of your body will rise. Notice how the muscles are kind of surrounding the bone here, giving you some lift, some strength as you push away from the earth. And with all of that connection here now through the lower body, inhale, lift your arms up high. As you exhale, fold forward, take your pelvis over the head of your thigh bones and bring your hands either to the block, to the chair, or to the ground, whatever feels best here. We'll take a moment in this fold to let your head hang if that feels all right, and give it a little bit of a shake. Shake your head yes and no. If you're feeling dizzy, heartburn, nausea, any of that, come back into your high stance. Let your belly, your heart, and your head be in line in this fashion, a little bit taller, throat above the belly. All right, and if we're folded over all the way, let's either push into our shins or the block to all come up halfway. Exhale, stay here halfway, or exhale and fold on down. And then gentle bend of your knees. Inhale, push down through your feet, slowly roll yourself back up. If you're feeling no dizzies, inhale then and lift your arms up high. And then exhale down to your heart again. So move through that a couple of times. You choose where you want to stop, how long you want to stay. All right, here we go. Inhale, reach up nice and tall. Feel your rib cage floating up from your pelvis, from your baby, creating space. Exhale as you fold over the legs. Inhale, come up halfway. Feel long from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Exhale, stay there or fold. And then inhale, push down into the ground. Slowly lift yourself back up. Hands can come if you're feeling like that's part of it for today for you. And then exhale. We'll pause here for a breath, letting everyone catch up. And then release our hands. All right. From here, let's move a little bit longer, a little bit more broad as we go. Inhale, reach up tall once more. Exhale, fold forward, let your belly, let your baby, let your pelvis come over with you. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, bend both knees and either use your block or your chair for some support. Step your left foot back behind you. So here we are in this lunge. We're gonna walk our hands onto our right thigh and find a little bit of balance here. Only let your foot come back far enough that you feel nice and connected into the pelvis, so it doesn't have to be a very wide stance. Bend your right knee. You hear in yoga a lot, can you see your big toe? And sometimes we can't see our toes at all when we're pregnant, right? But maybe right now we might be able to. So can we look down? Can we kind of make some contact with the toe? I know this is taking a lot of steadiness. I can feel it myself, a lot of work. Inhale, lift your arms up high. As you exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Start to lean forward just a little bit, and then take a couple of little steps forward with the back foot to bring it on up. Doesn't seem like much, but I'm already feeling it, yeah? All right, let's go through it one more time for the other side. Release your arms. Inhale, stretch, reach, feel your whole body lifting up. Exhale, floating forward here, finding the ground, the chair, or the block. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, bend both knees, and then step the other leg back behind you. If you're using the chair, you might not be able to do that in the studios, and you might think, oh, this is really great. From here, we're gonna walk our hands onto our left thigh. Maybe heel toe the left foot a little bit wider so that we feel like we're standing on railroad tracks, other than like a tightrope, one foot right behind or in front of the other. So find that place that's about as wide as your hips. Maybe again, inhale, lifting up high. We'll exhale here. One more breath in. And then exhale, hands will come down to the heart. Find that little bit of a lean forward, feel the left leg working a little extra here, and then take a few little steps to bring the right foot all the way up. All right. I feel like I need to shake it out myself already. So let's turn towards the wide side of the mat and move through a little bit of other standing work. So open up your feet wider than your hips. Find a comfortable width here for yourself. If you're experiencing any pubic symphysis, a lot of discomfort in your low back, around the sacroiliac joint, kind of where you feel those two little tail lights, this little bone kind of protruding out here, the top of your pelvis, you don't need to take a very wide stance. Find a smaller stance and you might find more comfort both in the area of the pubic joint and maybe even in the low back. So experiment with what works for you right now while we're not together. We're gonna take our left toes, and we're gonna turn towards the front of the mat, and we'll take our right toes and turn them in just a little bit. All right, so before we go anywhere, you can see me, I'm kind of modifying so that I feel like my feet are at the place that I want them to be, where it just feels right for me today. Push down through both feet. Try to enjoy every movement and every moment before we're rushing into the next pose. Really push down here and feel your legs start to light up around you and support you here as your feet are pressing into the floor. And then, let's take our arms out to the side. Let's inhale. As we exhale, bend the front knee. Again, you might be able to see your toes. Yay! You can glance down and see if that big left toe is visible. But more so, feel for this sensation of stretch right here in the inner thigh, this inseam of the leg, like your knee is trying to reach toward the center of your foot. All right, so warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Take one more breath, exhale, maybe sit a little bit deeper. Inhaling maybe a little bit deeper. And then let's reverse it. Back hand is gonna come to your hip, flip your front palm, inhale, reach up high, feel like that crescent when we were down in child's pose, and then exhale, let your hand come back down in front. Again, inhale, feel the foundation of your legs holding you still here, the effort in the low half of the body so that we have some ease to stretch into the top part of the body. One more time. Inhale, reach on up. Exhale, bring both arms back out to the side. Let's find side angle pose. So we'll take our left forearm, bring it onto our left thigh. From here, we've got this hand floating out in space. Bring it against your belly, especially as your baby and your belly grow. Remember to bring your baby and your belly into your pelvis. So draw it back into this framework of support that you have here. Top hand can rest on your hip. Might reach up to the sky. Take one more breath here. Inhale, reach up through those fingertips. As you exhale, go ahead and bring your hand back down onto your hip. Turn your gaze down on your next breath. Inhale, push down through the left foot to lift yourself up. And then turn all of your toes forward. And then we'll heel toe, or take some little steps to bring it back in. And we'll find a little bit of marches here. So one knee at a time. And since it's kind of a evening class, let's add in our opposite arms so that we can start our winding down pretty soon. So as you do this, a couple different things you can do with your breath. You can inhale as you reach up and exhale as it comes down. If the breath feels like a little too much, that's okay. Just find your marches. Think about both hemispheres of your brain coordinating right now to make opposite sides of your body move in unison. And notice your heart. Notice your circulation. All right, now we're gonna slow things down. Pause, pause. Find your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Press down through your feet. Maybe even bring your hands to your heart. Feel all of the life flowing through you right now. All right, now we're going to move to the other side. So we can face the same way here. We'll step our legs comfortably wide again. Our right toes are going to spin towards the front of the mat, and our left toes are going to spin in a little bit. One more time, make sure that you feel that there's enough width between both heels, or just enough balance between both feet here. Again, stretch the arms out to the side. Before you start to bend your knee, find your place in between both feet where you feel solid and held. And then on your exhale, go ahead and bend your front knee. Let your pelvis be the one that kind of drives how far forward you're going to go with this bend. Don't let your knee be the one in control that tells you how far to go. Let your pelvis tell you when it's feeling best. And then maybe we'll turn and look over those right toes again. Can we feel the inseam here of the right leg reaching out, like the knee is reaching for the center of the foot? Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Take a deep inhale here. Maybe sit a little bit deeper. One more breath in. Breathing out. Let's reverse on this side too. So back hand will come to the hip. Flip your front palm. Inhale, lift up as you reach through that side of your body again, and then exhale. Let your arm come back down. Feel that balance right here again of effort and ease. The lower half of the body strong, supportive. The top half of the body has space to move with grace. One more time, reaching up here. Exhale. Both arms will return. We'll find our warrior 2. On your next inhale, let's inhale here, and then we'll exhale, bring the forearm back to the thigh again. Hand will come to baby, bringing baby into the pelvis. Top arm can rest where it is, or I can reach up toward the sky. If your baby is not very large right now and you're used to practicing this with a block behind your leg, you can continue to keep that in your practice as long as it's feeling good, feeling like the right amount of support for your body. And then wherever we're at, we'll go ahead and bring the top hand back down to the hip. Let's glance down on your next inhale. Push through that front leg to bring you all the way back up. And then turn your toes forward. Once more, we'll heel toe or take some little steps in. And let's find a little bit of hip circles this time. So bend your knees, let your hips just rotate around. This can be as small or as big of a movement as what feels great for you today. And just begin to switch up your sides every couple of rotations. Spin in the opposite direction. Sometimes you can feel a little bit more play in your pelvis. You can feel a little bit more laxity, a little bit more movement as the body continues to release that lovely hormone of relaxin so that your baby will come out of your body and into your arms with greater ease one day. And, all right, let's come back to the front of the mat. If you have a block, we're gonna bring it between our thighs. We're gonna give it a little bit of a squeeze. If you don't have a block, that's okay. But if you do have one, give it a little hug there. Feel the inner thighs drawing toward one another. Maybe, just maybe, that feels kind of good in the low back. If you don't have a block there, that's okay. Keep a little space between your thighs and just hug them toward one another. We're gonna sink our hips back for a little bit of chair pose here. So bending the knees, sink the hips back. And we'll find a little bit of motion with our arms. So on your next breath in, inhale, lift your right arm up to the sky. And then as you exhale, let it circle back around. And then inhale with the left arm. Exhale, it comes back around. A couple more breaths here. Last little revolution here with the left arm, or last arm. And then go ahead and push into your feet to come all the way back up. All right. Let us bring a block to the center of our mat. And we're gonna come back into one last little wide-legged fold so that we can fold forward. You can also do this at the wall. So you might want to use some wall space to find a wall dog. Bringing your hands here in front of you, stepping your feet back as much as is comfortable, and then letting your body come forward so that you can find that length again, like we did in a down dog and in the quarter dog. Length all the way from the tailbone along through the spine out to the fingertips. You'll press your hands against the wall. You can also do this at the kitchen sink, which feels really good. Put your hands inside the sink. Lean yourself back and just get some nice traction along the spine. If a wall's not available to you or a sink right now, we might find just a wide-legged fold here using our blocks or using our chair. So step your feet comfortably wide. Your toes will be in line with your heels. Let's bring our hands behind our back. Interlace your fingers for a moment so you can bend your arms, hug your elbows toward one another, hug your shoulder blades toward one another. Feel some stretch, maybe through the chest. Lift from your collarbones. See how this feels, especially in your back. Is this feeling like a little too much into the back? If so, check in with the front ribs. Pull them in a little bit more support for the front of your body. And then we'll go ahead and release our hands, put them on your hips. Inhale here. Exhale, begin to fold forward, either at the wall, finding your hands on a block. Hands can come all the way down to the ground if you prefer. Either stay nice and long, or you can let yourself fold and let your head let go a little bit. So what feels best for you today? What's the right sort of fold that would be therapeutic for what your day and your week has been like? Take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Using your block or your chair at any time to bring yourself back up to a taller height if it's just not feeling great. And then we're gonna gently bend our knees, bring our hands onto our thighs, and then lift ourselves all the way up. Okay, one more time, stepping the feet in slowly. Whew. Find your Tadasana. Give your inner thighs a little bit of a squeeze in. Push down through your feet and find some length again. Let yourself grow tall. Let's inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Grab a hold of your left wrist. As you exhale, a little crescent over to the right side of your body. And then inhaling back up to center, switch hands. Crescent over to the left side of your body. Then just go side to side, a couple more breaths. Inhaling, exhaling to reach. Inhaling on up, exhale, hands will come down completely. Okay, so let's start to chill out. We're gonna come down onto the mat. If you'd like to use your blanket or towel to sit on, feel free to do that. We're gonna face the wide side of our mat here. And we'll start by extending your right leg out to the side, folding up your left leg, bringing the left foot toward the inner thigh. So here, again, you might use blocks or something to support you if you come forward, but not necessary, not required. We're gonna charge up this extended leg here. So let your toes sort of separate from one another for a moment. Pull them back toward your knee so that your leg begins to feel a little bit alive. Maybe even push a little bit through the ball of that foot. So instead of this leg being super passive, it's really helping to support us. And then we're just gonna start to walk our hands forward. And again, we'll know if staying with a nice tall straight spine is what feels best for our back today, or if whether letting ourselves fold down a little bit is what feels best for us today. So it really is your yoga, and as always, your experience and your wisdom that comes out as you move that tells you where the right place is for you to be in each moment. Kind of like parenting. Maybe one more breath here, and then start to push your hands back to lift yourself up. We'll keep our legs like this and just get one more little rotation, a little stretch. So turn your belly so it's toward your bent knee. And then your right hand might come to the ground outside of your right or inside of your right leg. We'll inhale, reach on up tall with the left arm, and keeping the hand either on the leg or on the floor, either one, reach over for a little side body stretch. And then inhale, come back up. Hanging out can be a little intense. And then maybe exhale for another stretch that way. One more breath. And then inhale, go ahead and let your arm come down to the ground. We'll find just, again, tiny little twist over to the side. Belly is just feeling soft and supple, but feel your rib cage as it gently rotates toward your bent knee. And maybe it feels okay for your chin to get a little bit of a rotation toward your shoulder. And then go ahead and release back to center. And we'll switch out our legs. So help the right leg come back. Fold it in and let the left leg come out to the side. Sitting on our blanket or on the ground, find a nice tall seat rising from whatever your sit bones are supported by. And then again, belly is soft, coming right here between the pelvis. We're going to start to fold forward, some action, some support, some life here in our extended leg. Feel your body already really starting to relax a little bit. Heartbeat is really settling. And hang out for another breath, or two, or three. Keep breathing Stay here for just a couple of breaths. And then inhale, start to push yourself back up, all the way up. I'm cooking dinner, what can I say? My potatoes are almost ready. All right, if you have a block, you can bring it inside of the leg for some support for that hand, or your hand will just find the ground, or find your leg. We'll inhale, reach your right arm up high. Gentle turn toward your bent knee, and then just a little stretch to the side here. And then I like to move with it. If it feels good for you to hold it, that's fine. It just doesn't feel great for me to hold this. It didn't when I was pregnant, at least. And maybe one last little breath to the side. And then inhaling to rise, exhale. Hands can be on the ground, little support. Just feel your rib cage here rotate gently toward the bent knee. Notice how this feels in your leg. Is this feeling okay? The sense of maybe a little bit of sensation of stretch in the long leg? Does it feel okay to let the twist work its way up toward your cervical spine as your chin gently turns toward your right shoulder? And then release slowly everything back to center. Lift the left leg. Let's bring the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. If you're having any discomfort along the pubic joint or the sacroiliac, that area and the top of the back, top of the pelvis rather, you might use blocks to place underneath your knees, just so your knees aren't so wide apart. You can also skip this pose altogether. But otherwise, if it feels okay, we'll bring the soles of our feet together for cobbler's pose. Blocks or no blocks, whatever you prefer. Maybe even here the pinky side of your feet can sort of press into each other, and your feet themselves might open a little bit like a book. So there's, again, some efforting, some action through the legs here, some connection all the way from the ankles throughout the leg up into the pelvis. And we can sit nice and tall and just experience any opening in the groin, or you can begin to come forward. So really choosing what feels right for you today, knowing that the next time you come back to this practice or any other, you might make different choices. Really modeling not only that sort of care and wisdom for ourselves, but for the children that we might be practicing around in our homes, and even the message that it sends to the baby inside of us, that we are already making decisions in every moment that care for us in the best ways that we know how. And then again, slowly start to walk yourself up. We'll help our legs to come up with some support outside the knees. Okay, so we'll take a moment of meditation here. And so we'll just find a comfortable seat. You can sit crisscross applesauce. You can sit with a block between your ankles so that your sit bones feel nice and supported. Your back will be really nice and straight. We just want to find any way that will be comfortable for a little bit of breath and a little bit of tuning in here. So this is a meditation that I've seen described as intended for banishing fear. And often when we're in our pregnancies, especially when it's our first time, or not even necessarily our first time, every pregnancy we're aware that we're going to have to let a situation unfold of the birth of our child. And we try to be open to whatever possibilities might come with that unfolding. So we're going to find a little meditation here that will be a little challenging for the shoulders, a little challenging for the arms, but it's really your chance to go in and to notice where your mind goes, what comes up for you when you feel challenged in this way. So we'll extend our arms out to the side, find that nice tall spine. So first just Kind of set yourself up in an ideal situation here where you feel length all the way up to the crown of your head. And then fold your fingertips, or fold your fingers in so that your fingertips are just kind of touching the inside of your palm. Your thumbs will continue to point up to the sky. From here, we're just going to bend our elbows on the inhale and bring our thumbs in toward our shoulders. And then on the exhale, we're going to extend them back out. It seems simple enough, yeah? All right, let's give it a try. We'll inhale, bring our thumbs in. Exhale, bring your thumbs out. Your eyes can be open or feel free to close them and really invite yourself to go in during this experience. Notice if it's the physical body, if it's the state of mind, if it's emotions, what sort of kosha, what sort of level of yourself do you hear, do you become aware of as you practice this? It might be all of them, it might be none of them. Just notice what comes up for you as we almost simulate a contraction here. Your shoulders are working, your whole body is working to hold your arms up. And as it starts to become a little bit more challenging for you, what do you hear? What's the story that starts to unfold for you in your mind as you feel the physical sensations of this? And can you challenge yourself to stay with it for another 30 seconds? And if you're feeling like you really want your arms to go down right now, can you think of other women that might be doing it along with you, who also are feeling like they need some extra support right now? Can you offer to them a little bit of extra strength? Can you open to receiving anything that's being sent to you right now? Last 5 breaths here. Last 3 breaths. And then stretch your fingers out. Slowly let your hands come back down. Let them rest on your thighs. Resist the urge to reach up and massage yourself just yet, and be acutely aware of the change of sort of sensation, both in your neck and your shoulders, down your arms. What felt like might not have been able to be tolerated for another moment. Can you feel that dissipation already? Can you feel the relief? Can you feel your heartbeat slowing? As if we have a little break between these contractions, between these moments of effort. Really let yourself absorb that ease as it settles in. And for today, that'll be our only one. So we'll get ready to find a final resting pose. If you have a couple of blocks in a bolster, you might set them up to create a supported recline station for you here. Place one block on a tall height, one on a medium height, and then your bolster will come and rest on top of them. Then you can seat yourself close to the bottom of the bolster. Use your blanket, open it up a little bit wider, and bring it onto the top of your feet, and then go ahead and tuck it under your legs before you even come down. That way you'll have something to grab onto. Bring your hands back onto the ground and slowly lower yourself onto your bolster, and then maybe reach down for the blanket, and you can make a little bit of adjustments here, a little bit of tweaking of your legs. If you don't have a setup like this, just come into a side lying pose. So maybe your blanket or towel can be used as a pillow, and even a couch cushion or another blanket from your bed, or rather pillow from your bed, can be used between your legs. So as you slowly come down, bring something between your knees and ankles if it's available, and allow yourself to find some peace here on your side. So wherever you choose to find your final rest, begin to take some nice full breaths, inhaling through your nose, exhaling out of your mouth. And slowly let your body just sink with each exhale into the support of the earth, into the support of something solid beneath you, something that you can really lean into, that you can trust will be there. And let your eyes softly close if they're not already, and let the muscles of your face just begin to soften like melted wax. You can imagine beads of tension just kind of beading up there like soft wax, and just let them roll right on down off of you completely, down into that earth that can take so much. Let your jaw open, maybe even fake a yawn. Take a nice inhale through your mouth. And then, like warm honey, just feel that relaxation from your face continuing down. Let it come into your throat. Let your breath become softer as it travels in and out. Maybe pause here for as many minutes as you have available to you. Don't get up. And when you feel ready, later, go ahead and sit yourself up and just check in with how you're feeling again. So we'll end here, but I hope that you're ending by keeping yourself in a few more minutes of Shavasana, a few minutes of rest, a few minutes to reward yourself for coming to the mat, for honoring your own body, your own nervous system, and for once again making a wise decision for both yourself and for your baby. I hope to see you again next time. My name's Andrea. Namaste.